Today, I would like to explain the concept of budget constraint. Economists assume that consumers choose the best bundle of goods they can afford. To give the best content to this theory, we have to describe more precisely what we mean by can afford. So that is what we are going to discuss today. We'll begin by examining the concept of the budget constraint. In reality, there are many goods from which the consumer can choose. But for our purposes, it is convenient to consider only the case of two goods. Moreover, it is easier to depict a two-commodity case graphically. Consumption bundle is simply a list of two numbers that tells us how much the consumer is choosing to consume of good 1, x1, and how much the consumer is choosing to consume of good 2, x2. For example, if the consumer is consuming pens and pencils, it represents how many units of pens and pencils the consumer consumes. We suppose that we can observe the prices of two goods as P1, P2, and the amount of money the consumer has to spend as M. M is nothing but the total income of the consumer. For example, if the consumer consumes 6 pens and 4 pencils, and supposing the good 1 is pen and good 2 is pencil, then the consumption bundle will be 6, 4. If the price of pen is rupees 10 and the price of pencil is rupees 6, then the price bundle, that is P1, P2, can be represented as 10, 6. That is the price of pens and pencils respectively. The budget constraint of the consumer can be written as P1 x1 plus P2 x2 less than or equal to M. It shows that the total expenditure on good 1, that is P1 x1, and the total expenditure on good 2, that is P2 x2, shouldn't exceed M, that is the total income of the consumer. And assuming the total income of the consumer as rupees 100, and if the consumer consumes 6 pens and 4 pencils, as mentioned above, then the budget constraint will be 10 into 6 plus 6 into 4, which is 60 plus 24, that is 84. It's always less than or equal to 100. So here the consumer is within his budget constraint. P1 x1 is the amount of money that the consumer spends on good 1, and P2 x2 is the amount of money that the consumer spends on good 2. The budget constraint of the consumer basically requires that the amount of money spent on the two goods should be no more than M. And the consumer's affordable consumption bundles are those that don't cost any more than M. We call the set of affordable consumption bundles at prices P1, P2, and income M the budget set of the consumer. In the above example, the consumption bundle 6, 4 at income 100 can be considered as a budget set, as the commodities are affordable to the consumer. Coming to the properties of the budget set, the budget line is the set of bundles that cost exactly M. That is P1 x1 plus P2 x2 is equal to M. Or we can say that these are the bundles of goods that just exhaust the consumer's income. From the above example, the consumer can exhaust his income of rupees 100 if the consumption bundle is 7.5 at prices 10.6. When we see the graph, x-axis or the horizontal intercept shows the consumption bundle x1 and y-axis shows the consumption bundle x2. M by P1 represents the point where all of the income is spent on good x1. M by P2 represents the point where all the income is spent on good x2. When we take our above example, the income of the consumer was rupees 100, and if the consumption bundle is 7.5, it shows his exhaustion of total income of rupees 100. If he changes his consumption pattern, and if he only consumes good 1, that is pens, since P1 is rupees 10, he will be able to consume 10 pens. That is 100 by 10, which is the same as M by P1. In the case of good 2, If he spends all his money on pencils, he'll be able to consume 25 pencils. That is 100 by 4, which is M by P2. So, in the next video, the concept of the slope of a budget line, the economic implication of the slope of a budget line, that is the concept of opportunity cost, which is constant, which will be constant in this case, and the changes in the budget line given the changes in price and income will be explained. Thank you.